episode of the Kate Hamilton Health Podcast. So in today's episode, I want to talk around the whole topic of good digestion and how to feel full with good digestion. Because I think, we're in a world where everyone is constantly promoting you need to eat more protein, you need to eat more protein, which most of us do need to eat more protein. However, then we start to kind of layer more and more protein into our diets without actually thinking about fibre and thinking about other macronutrients as well as protein. So I just want to kind of just dive into basically the magic trio for feeling full with good digestion. So that is protein, it's fibre, and water. Okay, so the three of these together play a huge part in helping you feel full so that you don't experience cravings, so that you are not feeling like, if you want to lose weight, that you're not constantly feeling starving, and that it's such an uphill challenge to actually be able to stick to your calories, stick to your diet. This is hugely important, but also for good health as well. So let's dive into it a little bit. Okay, so protein targets, they are so important for so many reasons. Okay, they're important for keeping you fuller for longer, for stabilizing your blood sugar levels and reducing cravings, for muscle health and strength, for muscle recovery and injury prevention, for boosting metabolism and helping to lose fat more efficiently, for maintaining a healthy body weight, and for maintaining the muscle that we do have as we age. So I just want to be very clear that as I'm talking a bit about fibre in this episode, that I'm really not down talking protein. Protein is extremely important. A lot of us have very carb heavy diets, a lot of beige, a lot of white going on, and usually not enough protein. And for all of those reasons I've just mentioned, it is so important to ensure that you are getting enough protein into your diet. Like, obviously it depends on your age, your weight, your height, your activity levels, everything depends on, how many calories you should be consuming and how much protein you should be eating. But as a general rule of thumb, as a female listening, males would be a little bit more, always aim to get your protein levels above 100 grams per day. So that's not 100 grams of protein sources. That's actually the 100 grams of protein within your whole day of food, which if you are tracking on MyFitnessPal and you scroll down to the bottom of your food diary, you'll see a nutrition section and you'll be able to check and see how many grams of protein you've eaten in a day. And it can be kind of shocking initially to see how low that can be. So the initial goal for anyone who has quite a low protein diet will be to try and get that protein up over 100 grams. And then, as you're working towards specific goals, we can get more specific with those protein targets further down the line. But once you're kind of getting it up over 100, you will be getting enough to cover you health-wise for protein. Another way, if you're not actually tracking calories, and you're just kind of watching what you're eating or using the hand portion method, always aim for 1 to 2 palm-sized portions of protein in every meal. So the palm being the palm of your hand. So, a smaller female might only have 1 palm-sized portion of protein with each meal, whereas like a male will more likely have 2 palm-sized portions of protein with every meal. I'm kind of medium-sized woman, so I would have somewhere between 1 to 2 palms. So I might have that 2 palm-sized portions of protein with my breakfast because I've got Greek yogurt and protein powder both in my breakfast. That covers me for 2. Whereas at lunchtime, I might have 2 eggs, which will count for like 1 palm-sized portion with my lunch. So it'll depend, but it is really important. So it's a palm of your hand is going to be in line with the size of person that you are as well. So this works really well. So please do aim for 1 to 2 palm-sized portions of protein with every meal. We're talking, when you think about a palm-sized, like I've just kind of mentioned there, 2 eggs, 100 grams of Greek yogurt, a scoop of protein powder, a chicken fillet, a salmon darn, anything like that counts as a palm size. Like, you don't need to actually physically put it into the palm of your hand, but so you get a general idea of the size of it. 1 to 2 of them every single meal. It's going to make a huge difference for keeping you feeling fuller, stabilizing your blood sugar levels, and for your muscle health in general. Okay. It's going to help with your building a good metabolism. You will burn fat more efficiently the more muscle that you have in your body. And in order to build a good, strong body, you need protein. So anyway, that's my protein lecture. But what often happens when we do start to nail our protein targets is that things get a little slow in the digestion department. And I see this all the time, when clients come on board and they start increasing their protein. And some people are really good. They know how important protein is, and they'll go hell for leather and they'll increase it from, eating like 40 grams of protein per day to suddenly getting 120 grams of protein per day. And what can often happen here is they end up backed up. They end up quite constipated. And that's because they've dramatically increased their protein from what it used to be. So what I would always say is you need to do it gradually, like bring it up bit by bit, and what's really important to remember as well, if you're looking to lose weight and you are in a calorie deficit and you're increasing your protein from 40 grams up to like 120 grams immediately, those calories are coming from somewhere else and they're probably coming from your carbohydrates, and your carbohydrates are where you're going to get your fiber. And that's what's causing the issue with digestion. Also, a lot of people will pump a lot of kind of processed protein products into them to get to hit their protein goal. So being like, oh, I'm only at 90 grams of protein today. I better eat this protein bar, or I better eat this protein mousse, or, that they're eating more processed foods. Whereas what I really want you to do when it comes to your protein is try and get it. You don't need protein snacks. This is another question I get asked a lot. Like, what protein snacks should I have? You don't need protein snacks. You need protein in your meals. So you need to have 3 meals, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If not, 4 meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, or breakfast, little lunch, big lunch, and dinner. Whatever way you want it. You might even want breakfast, little lunch, big lunch, dinner, and supper. Like, you might have 5 mini meals. It doesn't matter what way you break it up, but at least 3 meals per day. You should be hitting your protein targets within those meals. So that's why I'm like the 1 to 2 pounds of protein per meal. That means if you have calories left over, that you're snacking. First of all, you won't need to snack because you will be full. You'll be really full. But if you want to snack, like I like to have a little chocolate bar with my cup of tea. I don't want to have a protein pudding or some fake chocolate bar that I have to make with, I'm like, no, I just want to have like a Cadbury Freddo or one of those Cadbury little bars, or 2 of them, and enjoy it. But knowing that I've had a healthy, balanced diet all day, and that's what's important. So like, just think real foods, think Greek yogurt, think about chicken, fish, think about things like chickpeas, lentils, eggs, egg whites, even milk is a great source of protein. So there's so many ways that you can just get it in within your meals. So when people are like, if someone has a standard diet, they're like, Kate, I need to get my protein up. I'm like, eat more chicken. Like, stop putting like in your chicken sandwich at lunch, putting this tiny layer of chicken. You need the whole packet. Your dinner, your chicken curry, and you've got teeny tiny amount of chicken because you're saving your calories. You need, like, if you're only having 80 grams of chicken with your dinner, you need 160 grams of chicken. Double it. Double the amount of meat you're having in your dinner. And obviously you're going to track it. If you're looking to lose weight, it's going to make a huge difference that it's coming from real foods. Protein powder can be a really, really good supplement to use to help get your protein targets up. However, protein powder does not suit everybody. What I'll always say with protein powder is whey isolate is going to be the easiest on the digestive system. It's got the least amount of crap in it, if you like. So getting it from a good supplement shop is really going to be beneficial. I have protein powder in my breakfast every day. I digest it absolutely perfectly. It's like a milk product. However, some people will be more sensitive to it. There are vegan protein powders, pea proteins, things like that can be a little bit easier on the digestive system, especially it's if you are not great with dairy is when issues can kind of arise. Or if you just think like, this protein powder is not agreeing with me, stop. You don't need to take protein powder to reach your protein targets. If you digest it well, it can be a really good way to get your protein up. Okay, so as I said, this issue then with digestion of, increasing your amount of protein, suddenly your diet's changed, your digestion gets a little bit slower. This is where we need to talk about fibre. And this is why it's this really kind of careful balancing act between these things to get it right, okay? So fibre is important for keeping your digestion regular, keeping your blood sugar levels stable and reducing cravings. So the same as protein. So you're going to get a double whammy here. It's going to keep those blood sugar levels stable. You're not going to have as much cravings. You will feel fuller for longer, and it's going to prevent diseases of the digestive system as well, the likes of colon cancer and things like that. So it really is, fiber is so, so, so important. So like, when it comes to eating carbohydrates, I am not anti white bread. I'm not anti white pasta, white rice, or whatever. Life's too short to be cutting out everything white in your life, in your diet. There can be a lot of joy in a bit of white pasta. Okay. But what I'll say is, please make sure somewhere in your day that you are getting whole grain carbohydrates into as well. So thinking along the lines of oats, brown bread, brown rice, brown pasta. It doesn't all have to be brown, but getting more of it in, and not being afraid to eat carbohydrates because that's where your fiber is going to be. You're also going to get a huge amount of fiber from your fruit and vegetables as well. So we want to eat as much color as possible. So like, quite often, like I'll cook white pasta with, if we're doing a bolognese, because the kids just prefer it. It's just easier. I actually just prefer it as well. But in my bolognese sauce, there's going to be so many vegetables in there, and I'll often have vegetables on the side as well. So I'm getting a lot of fiber that way. Another way then to get more fiber in is, nuts and seeds. Although they're sources of healthy fats, they're also great sources of fiber. Avocado is a great source of fiber also. It's really eating a varied diet. So it is really looking at your carbohydrates, your healthy fats, and your fruit and vegetables. So it is basically all the rest of your diet as well that we need to not forget about. So as we up our protein, we need to have a wide variety of all of this. So as you can see from what I'm saying, fiber and protein actually have a lot in common, with the keeping feeling fuller for longer, stabilizing the blood sugar levels, except that the fiber will get things moving in your digestive system. When it comes to the amount of fiber that you need to be consuming every day, it needs to be somewhere between 25 grams and 35 grams of fiber every day. So females more towards the 25 gram mark, males more towards the 35 gram mark. In general, obviously it depends on the size of the person, but everybody should be getting that fiber up over 25 grams. And just remember, it comes from all sources. Lots of nuts, seeds, avocados, healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, whole grain carbohydrates. Just get that variety in there. Make sure you're getting enough of it. It's just so important for your health. So protein and fiber should sort you out. But what you might find when you start to increase your fiber, you've increased your protein, then you increase your fiber, and you become more bloated, more backed up. And this is because you're missing the final piece of the puzzle, and that is water. Like, you need to be drinking enough water, obviously for hydration reasons, but also for digestive reasons. At least 2 liters of water every day, if not 3 or 4, depending on where you live, how hot it is, how active you are. But as a baseline, someone who lives in a cold country who doesn't do a whole lot of movement all day, at least 2 liters of water for you. Most of us, a little bit more. Again, ease yourself into this. I know you might feel like you're going to the toilet all of the time initially. If you stay consistent, your body will adjust, and it won't be like that forever. Like, it's so important. And with like spreading your water intake throughout the day as well, like what I'll do is I'll drink a pint of water first thing in the morning before I have my coffee. So then that gets me started. I'm kind of rehydrating myself after the night. I'll then, while I'm working at my desk as I'm recording this, I have another pint glass of water. So I'm kind of almost through. As we speak now, it is nearly 11 a.m. and I'm almost through my second pint of water for the day. If I'm out and about, I'll bring a bottle of water with me. I'll try and kind of finish my water by dinner time, because I like to kind of back off the fluids a little bit in the evening time. So I'll have my cup of tea or my chocolate bar early in the evening. But after that, then I just don't want to be woken in the middle of the night needing to wee. So it's just not worth it for me anymore. The new thing as I get older. But I'd say is just try and get it in throughout the day. Your water, your fluids in general. Like, so if you really struggle with water, do throw a tiny drop of my waddy into it, or whatever you need to do. But, the likes of tea and coffee, like, there's an argument that, that it is said that it does count towards your fluid intake, and it does technically, but I want us to really focus on the benefits of water and just getting more water into your diet. Okay. So, and in turn, that will mean you'll drink a little bit less coffee, a little bit less tea, a little bit less fizzy drinks. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out, but by you putting the active effort into drinking your water, which is going to make you feel amazing, it'll reduce those little things a little bit, and you'll get a better balance in place, and it's going to massively increase your digestion issues that you may be experiencing. But also, water is going to help you feel fuller for longer also. So that's it. The magic trio for feeling full with good digestion is protein, fiber, and water. I hope you found this helpful. I know sometimes you must be like, Kate, is like, you should rename me Captain Obvious, but it makes, so all these little things that we just kind of don't think about that makes such a difference to our health journey, to our weight loss journey, to our fitness journey, just to feeling better. So give it a go. Let me know how you get on. And as always, if you've enjoyed this episode, if you found it helpful, please share it with your friends in your WhatsApp groups, on your stories. Tag me if you do. Leave a review or a comment if you have time. And if you are not subscribed to this podcast, please hit the subscribe button. It makes such a difference. And I appreciate you all. And I will talk to you soon.